Thank you so much, Caitlin. I kind of would like to go to Interior South Carolina. Go to the at least for a night. It's worth a night out at the wagon wheel, right? Isn't it? Okay. So I'd like to introduce to you someone on the Borderlands staff who's been with us for a few months and has moved into the administrative director role. She comes to us with a great deal of experience in the literary world, with some depth and breadth, and kind of a poet's eye on her administrative work for the journal. Please give a warm welcome to Allyson Whipple.
Thank you, James, and I have to say thank you to James and Ignacio, our newest board member. First, thank you, Ignacio, for joining the board, because we really needed a board member. I guess, be in compliance with the law. And I did not want to have that as my first big challenge. But thank you both, and for being part of this team, all of the editors and readers of Borderlands, because I kind of had no idea what I was doing. Not really, but this would not have happened without all of this wonderful team helping me out, because there was a lot of learning involved, but hey, we got it out, right? And it looks great. And I'd like to reiterate our thanks to Terry Sherrill, who is again super patient with us when we're working through all of the steps of getting things done. And I'd like to thank Ramona, our former administrative director, for basically holding my hand this entire fall. Because I would really have messed up the budget without her quintuple checking it. and thanks also to Darcy Randall and Dorothy Barnett for trusting me with their project and their vision. That was a huge honor when someone says, well, here's this thing I've founded way back when. It's yours now. That's really meaningful. I'm up here to introduce our in memoriam section, which we don't always have. Debra Winegarten was a poet that we lost this summer, and before I introduce her a little further, in the spirit of Debra, I'd like to say you can't leave Malvern until you buy 5 things. So we have new issues, we have back issues, we have a whole store of books, including books by our readers here today. We also have paintings that are for sale by Alyssa Whipple, our amazing cover artist. You should probably buy the one I really want, because I can't. I'm like, oh, I really want it, but also I only get paid once a month. But I might just have to buy it if no one does. Look, 5 things. If you need a Valentine, there are plenty of lovely Valentine's cards in the back. I bought one just this past Friday. So I'll say a little bit about Debra Winegarten, who was a real driving force in our Austin community. She was a poet, and we do have her 2 chapbooks. There's Jews in Texas and Where Jewish Grandmothers Come From. She was also a nonfiction writer. She wrote a number of middle grade biographies about Texas women. The most recent was Ovida Kalpadi, Colonel, Cabinet Master, and Philanthropist, which won multiple awards. She also co-authored a memoir, The Mysterious Island of Nanotechnology, and as founder of Sociosites Press, she published Almost a Minion, which was a children's book that got incredible acclaim and won many awards. And their last book, their most recent book, Faces of the Matriarchs, was released just a few weeks before her passing, August 2018, and it's a beautiful, beautiful coffee table book. And in addition to her own work, Debra Winegarten was a huge champion of just about every writer she ever met. She was always at events, she was always promoting people, she was always contributing in one way or another to someone's project. And there are so many of us here who I don't think would have always kept going if she weren't there being a cheerleader for us. And she's really going to be missed. And We're very honored to be able to have published one of her final poems, and to read her poem and to say a little more about Debra is Debra's heart partner, Cindy Huyser. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you, Allyson. As it turns out, it's actually the 23rd anniversary of our first date. So, the spirit of lesbian love is alive in the room. Debra was very much in the mold of her mother, Ruth Winegarten, who was known as the Dean of Texas women's history. She was, in addition to being a poet and a biographer and a publisher, a shameless marketer. She, in fact, sold thousands of copies of There's Jews in Texas, and was fond of saying that a book is a schmoozing delivery device. So, that being said, I'm going to read some selections from There's Jews in Texas and Where Jewish Grandmothers Come From, and then I will close with the poem that's in Borderlands. As it turned out, when I was going to select the poems from Jews in Texas, I found a reading copy where she had selected a sequence, so I'm going to read her sequence. And this is a picture of Charlie Hoffman wearing chaps. So this is like an early Jewish Texas immigrant. So the first poem is called Second Grade, Part 2. Being 8 years old means walking alone to Skiller's drugstore at the Park Forest Shopping Center with my weekly allowance quarter searing a hole in my already sweaty shorts pocket. I know what I'll buy. The latest Superman or Batman comic book, whichever one came in that week and doesn't already live in the pile on my nightstand at home. With my new Superman comic slipped in the sleek paper bag, top carefully folded so my sweaty hands don't ruin my treasure, a grown man stops me on the sidewalk, eyeing my Star of David necklace and asking if I'm Jewish. When I nod yes, I'm not supposed to talk to strangers, he tells me that's really too bad for me, because didn't I know that Jews burn in hell when they die? Tears falling so hard I could barely see, I dropped my weekly treasure and ran home to Mom so fast I thought I might keel over before I got to her and be snatched right down to hell. When I told Mom what happened, she put both hands on my shoulders, knelt to my height where she could look square in my eyes, and in that Dallas drawl of hers said, "That's okay, honey, don't worry. We're Jewish. We don't believe in hell." Permission Slip, 1966. This was published in the Texas Poetry Calendar a few years ago. In case of an atomic bomb dropping on downtown Dallas, A, keep my child at school and I will pick him up in my car. B, keep my child at school until the attack is over. C, let my child walk home. Ridiculous, my mother declared, tearing the note in tiny pieces. In case of an atomic attack, we will all be dead. I told my third grade teacher I lost the note. Passing. When I was 16, I got to play the voice of God in my Sunday school confirmation play. From there, I went on to impersonate doctors on a regular basis. Like the time at Emma Park when a teenager was dragging his distressed puppy into the water. I marched right over and said, "I'm a vet. Stop that right now. You are doing serious damage to your dog." Wearing a bathing suit, I couldn't be expected to have my license with me, so I passed. Or when I had to reach the lawyer to answer whether the medical power of attorney gave me permission to let my sister die. I said I was a doctor just to get through the receptionist. Now she calls me Dr. Winegarten whenever I ring them up. The best story, of course, was my good friend, Catherine DeYounger, who saw teenagers tormenting a kitten near a gas station trash can. Pulling her pistol out of her car's glove box, she put it in her purse, walked over and calmly said, "Put the cat down." "Who are you?" one acne-faced boy sneered. Pulling out her gun, she pointed and said, "I'm the fucking cat police. Put the cat down." They dropped the kitten and ran. And here's one from where Jewish grandmothers come from. The poem's title is Shomer Duty, and a shomer is a watcher, someone who sits with the body of someone who's departed in the period before they're buried. I sit and read psalms in silence. A candle flickers. The scent of freshly hewn pine wood seeps from the casket's smooth slats. Wood pegs nail the lid shut. I touch the box's handles, sandpaper wrought silk, no splinters to impale pallbearers' palms. I listen for the weeping as the soul realizes its station, my job to provide solace as it journeys to the world to come. I resist the urge to ask it to deliver a message to Mom, telling her how much I miss her still each and every day. Were you ready to die, I wonder, reflecting on my own readiness ratio? The question stares back, mute. I pick up the book of Psalms and resume reading the verses, trying to stave off the jealousy of going to be with Hashem. And finally, the poem that appears in this issue of Borderlands, called Crossing an Ocean of Silence. If my left hand were paralyzed, would you ask me, how did that happen? My left vocal cord is paralyzed, cause unknown. When I call and say, I have laryngitis, do not say, what? I can't hear you. Do not ask me how long this will last. That presumes that I know. Do not ask me what can be done. That presumes there is a cure. Do not ask me, what did the doctors say? Your curiosity reminds me my vocal cord is frozen. Do not act as if there is something wrong. There is nothing wrong. I'm just quieter than you're used to. Just because you think I'm whispering, do not whisper back. My ears are fine. If you really must know all the details, that is what Rabbi Google is for. Yes, it has affected my work. Yes, I got laid off from my adjunct teaching job. Yes, I could file an ADA claim. Yes, people can barely hear me when I do public speaking. Yes, I sell more books now. People are more attentive. Yes, I have considered not getting more treatment in order to sell more books. No, I canceled that possibility. Yes, the treatment hurts like hell. No, it didn't work the first time. No, the doctor didn't charge me my copay when I went back for seconds. Yes, I get a lot of sympathy. No, I don't want your sympathy. It only reminds me that I have a disability. No, I am not learning sign language. Do you read sign language? Yes, you may add me to your prayer list. No, don't tell me. It just makes me sad. My minion mates say my voice is getting stronger. Honestly, I can barely tell. No, there is not something I am too scared to say. If you think that, you don't know me at all. Sometimes a broken leg is just a broken leg. Sometimes the pharyngeal nerve just stops working. Nerves regenerate 1 millimeter a month. 1 millimeter a month feels like an eternity. 50% recover, 50% don't. The recovery period is 9 to 12 months. Check back with me next year. April 7, 2018. Thank you.